Hi there, I'm Justin Pritchard, and in this video, I want to introduce you to one of the most comfortable long-distance highway cruisers that I've ever driven. This is the 2021 Cadillac Escalade. And let me tell you that not a lot of vehicles make me want to bust out this special camera lens so that I can get in nice and close and show you all of the finest details. And there are a lot of those to see. Escalade is all about generating a distinctive driving environment, and in this video, I'm going to show you how it does it. What's on your screen is one of the ultimate road-going combinations of luxury and technology. The Escalade is a pioneer in the luxury SUV scene, and every time there's a new one, it's got some very big shoes to fill, drawing on years of experience and taking the very best of what Cadillac can build and putting it into a market where the shopper wants to be wowed and where the competition for their dollars is fierce. So this Escalade ESV Platinum has no shortage of design and engineering and feature content tech deployed to create a truly world-class motoring experience. Remember, this shopper wants to be wowed for years to come, and they want a machine that sets a trend, gives them a glimpse of the future, and otherwise delights them on every drive. A luxury flagship through and through, and a rolling technological gene pool from which future Cadillacs will draw. When you first meet an Escalade like this one, it's not long before it starts showing itself off. The door handles pop with an electronic release, barely any more effort than clicking a computer mouse, and they're free of their latches. Power running boards fold out to greet you as you open the door onto a cabin that's authentically breathtaking. I hadn't seen the interior of an Escalade with my own eyes for many years before this test drive, and while glancing around initially, I swore 3 times before I was even buckled up. You've got this brightly colored space stretching, and I mean stretching out all around you, and the stitching and leather and gloss all flows like liquid. It's very graceful looking, I think. And since the Escalade is enormous, its seats and dash and center console and everything else inside is enormous too. The designers trimmed virtually all of it in creamy leather and upscale fabrics. The bright colors and abundance of glass really open things up visually and give you a bright and energetic and very comfortable environment to relax in. But it's closer inspection of the finer details in here that really impress the eyes and fingertips, and that's where my special lens comes in. So this is called a macro lens, and its job is to kind of turn the camera into a bit of a magnifying glass so that I can get up close and show you all of the intricate details. And of course, if we're shooting in macro in a vehicle like this with lots of glossy dark surfaces, we're also going to need the Swiffer to make sure that we don't get lint ruining all of our shots. This interior gave my gear a serious workout. Stitching, patterns, finishes, gloss, textures. There's just so much detail, and it's all assembled beautifully. Even on the smallest scale, there's always something nice to touch or look at or interface with. Subtle but very important when you want your big dollar shopper to really feel like you've sweat the details to give them their money's worth. There's richness dialed into just about everything in here. So it's finished like a piece of high-end luggage, and it has some of the most beautiful leather that I've ever seen. But don't worry, you're totally covered if you like gadgets too. The big story on that front is the screens and interfaces. The central infotainment and instrumentation display gets the same organic LED technology as the fanciest TVs at Costco. The blacks are vivid, and with double the pixel density of a 4K TV, the graphics are spectacular. So if you work on a high-end tablet like me during the day or enjoy a high-end television at home, driving an Escalade means that leaving the house doesn't require you to leave the crisp, vivid graphics you love while you're out for a drive. And just like the colors and textures and materials lining the cabin, the high-end screens are inspired by what's hot in the world of tech and design right now. That's one way Cadillac brings the owner's luxury lifestyle into their driving experience. There are big, easy-to-read displays, the touch response is smooth and quick, and as complex as this all looks, it's not long at all before you're flicking away through the different screens and functions like second nature. And heck, the screens are curved, stacked over one another, and wrapped in their own stitched leather. So this giant screen looks integrated, not like an afterthought. The nighttime driving experience of Escalade is remarkable, and for more on that, check the links in the description below for a specific video dedicated to just that topic, and we'll go into the performance of the Escalade's headlights, night vision system, ambient lighting system, and more. Second row occupants get their own screens, as well as plenty of space to kick back and relax for the drive. There's even built-in Wi-Fi if you want to offer your passengers or clients a hotspot on the move. Third row seats are a nice surprise. They're adult friendly, even for longer trips actually, so plenty of room in every seat and plenty of gear to keep everyone juiced up and connected for the drive.
There are a lot of times I would tell you that an adult probably wouldn't want to sit back here for a very long time, but actually in this, headroom's like a little bit tight, but at 5'10", I've got tons of legroom. I've got an armrest right here, lots of storage. This is actually just fine for large adults like me to sit in the third row, and I've still got tons of storage space behind me too.
Up front, driver and passenger get heated and ventilated massage seats and fully automatic climate control. So what you've got here is a living room for the road and one with some pretty spectacular furniture and screens. Of course, the stereo system is pretty top-notch too. Just as you'd expect from a big dollar cruiser, it's exclusive and powerful. Usually, Cadillac's big stereo is a Bose system, but here they've gone with a studio reference setup from Australian company AKG instead for the audiophile level system. That gets you speakers on the headrests and above on the ceiling for 3D surround sound, and with a total of 36 speakers, it's a megawatt listening experience complete with deep, vibrant, and high-resolution reproduction of whatever you're listening to. I'm not an audiophile, but I can tell you I heard a lot of detail in a lot of my favorite songs that I didn't know was there, and also, I ran out of eardrum long before this stereo ran out of horsepower. Even at very high volumes, the sound is just crystal clear and alive. Still, I think the wireless Android Auto is probably my favorite thing in here.
Android Auto, now wireless. I just have to slide this into this charging slot. It's going to juice the phone up wirelessly. And now I have Android Auto and wireless charging engaged here, and I just tap that. My Android Auto pops up, and I don't have any wires getting in my way. And that means that the driving environment around me is less cluttered because I don't have a charging cord, which means I can keep this closed and all of that stuff, all that clutter, out of my sight.
At minimum, I do 800 kilometers on highways like this in every machine I show you, connecting central Ontario to my home in northern Ontario. And after nearly 1 million kilometers of testing hundreds of vehicles in that setting and others, I'd happily tell you that if you like using your highway driving time to relax and unwind and socialize and decompress, well, this is about as good as it gets. I'm sitting upright, high and alert, with good sight lines out ahead, and all manner of camera and radar-powered self-defense watching beside and behind me. That means I'm feeling confident, aware, and in control, which makes me more relaxed, which makes me more comfortable. A little north of the highway speed limit, noise levels are impressively hush. There's no need to raise your voice for a conversation with a nearby passenger, Bluetooth phone calls can be had without the need to shout, and a push-button conversation enhancement feature turns the stereo and some built-in microphones into a subtle but effective PA system that makes sure everyone can hear everyone else just fine. Again, this customer has to be able to effectively use their vehicle as a place to entertain and socialize. Or maybe as a place to sample the latest tech, like this augmented reality camera that can superimpose directional markings over a real-time video feed of the road ahead. It looks like Need for Speed from my Xbox, but in the dashboard, and that makes it very obvious where you need to turn, and very obvious if you've missed a turn too. Useful touches that wow the driver, remember. So to set the stage, you're feeling confident, very connected, very well backed up, very aware of the environment around you, and whether you want to relax in silence or pump some Clapton or rise against into your cranium at maximum volume, you're very nicely set up. And with that wireless Android Auto, everything and anyone I might want to check in on is at my fingertips. There's even OnStar that can call for help with its own cellular and GPS systems in case of trouble on the go. And to all of that confidence, the ride just becomes this thick layer of icing on the cake. With special technology in use, Escalade's suspension is alive.
And one of the things that it can do is read and respond to the surface of the road in real time. The shock absorbers on this Escalade are hooked up to a computer control system, and it monitors the surface of the road and the position of each of the 4 individual shock absorbers in real time. And then with millisecond precision, that system can trigger changes in each individual shock absorber to help smooth out the bumps in the road. And where you'll feel that the most, and I think the real magic to me on a highway drive like this, is in terms of body motion control. Usually a vehicle that's this big and soft and with such a long wheelbase is going to hit a bump, and the driver will still be feeling that for a few moments after, as it sort of bounces and wallows and rebounds and eventually comes back to rest. But with this magnetic suspension system, what you notice is the Escalade just goes up, down, done. That's it. It doesn't bounce, it doesn't rebound, and that means that the body of the vehicle is more stable on its wheels more of the time, which means that us, inside, driver, passenger, occupants, are more stable in our seats more of the time, and that makes for a more comfortable drive. Now, it's all fairly subtle. I mean, this system just works invisibly in the background. You hardly notice it's there, and that's, of course, the point. But as subtle as it is very, very effective, and in a lot of situations, it helps the Escalade ride like a hovercraft.
My Tester's 6.2-liter V8 develops 420 horsepower, sends them to all 4 wheels through a 10-speed automatic, and gives drivers a selectable 4x4 system, which includes an auto setting that'll see you moving around effortlessly in the snow. This unit is on these impressive Blizzak tires, a little floaty in deep snow, I guess because of how wide they are, but on braking and getting off the line, they're all teeth and claws. If you're after some great winter tires for your Escalade, I think you'll have a really good time on these. The engine is virtually electric smooth and very quiet at low revs. Big torque means you hardly have to get it working, and when you do, it sounds lovely. The burly rumble of that big 6.2 is a pleasing thing when you have occasion to hear it. And though it's a big heavy behemoth of a machine that's definitely dialed into a comfort-first configuration where ride and handling and steering are concerned, full throttle acceleration gets things hustling along pretty nicely. On gripes, I'd tell you that you could probably see them on your screen already. This long wheelbase Escalade ESV is a big, heavy machine. That means you've got better options for the money if you want something sporty and fun to drive, something with spirited handling, or something with a precise and sharp response to your inputs. Even in sportier drive modes, everything Escalade does is soft and gentle, refined and comfortable, yes, exciting, just not so much, other than the hot rod engine firing you along at full throttle. It can be tricky to park in tight quarters too, and obviously it enjoys gasoline if you're not careful with your foot. Make sure that you watch the 22s as well. With big wheels and thin tires like this, the trick suspension starts to lose its battle against the surface of the road if things get really rough and bumpy. Though it floats over lumpy roads and highways, sharp bumps, things like potholes and washboards and frost heaves, tend to find their way through that ride comfort force field and did leave me wishing for a smoother ride over rougher secondary roads. Aside from a few complaints, this is a spectacular example of an automaker being a little daring and innovative in order to try something new, and all with an eye for surrounding the driver with future-proof tech, delightful touches, and a really world-class luxury experience that fully supports the asking price. Escalade starts around 90,000 Canadian dollars, with an extended length model like my Tester opening the bidding at about 105. Loaded with options, the unit on your screen clocks in around 121. Stay in school, kids.
Well, thank you for watching. My name is Justin Pritchard for Driving.ca, and until next time, take care and drive safe.